Hello everyone, welcome to the 160 Q&A practice. We're going to start off today with plaintiff questioning. Ready? Do you think this marriage can be salvaged? No, sir. Do you think the present situation of both living under the same roof with that attitude on both your parts is advisable? I see nothing against it. You would prefer living under the same roof with your wife at a time when you feel the marriage is not salvageable and there is no possible solution to the marriage. I believe that there is no reason why my wife and I couldn't reside in that house until the divorce is settled. You don't feel that there is any detrimental effect on the children? No, sir. The only detrimental effect is that she is not there at night to say good night to the children. What kind of conduct do you display towards each other? Do you sit and talk or argue? What do you do? Well, are you talking about now? In the past 6 months. I would say there has been a strange silence. Do you have discussions? No, I would say we talk, but I would say that the better part of the evening is just silent. Is there tension? Not on my part. Do you think there is on the part of your wife? You will have to ask her. Do you think the reason that she is leaving the house in the evening when you are there to watch the children is the fact that there is tension when you are under the same roof with her? I think that is what she is telling herself. But you feel that the solution to this problem would be a divorce? Yes, sir. So you have no objection to the securing of a divorce? I shall actively seek it myself. And you feel you are qualified to have custody of the children? Yes, sir. Who would care for the 2 children? My mother has offered to quit her job and take care of them. I believe that would be a satisfactory solution. Yet you previously stated that your mother wouldn't bring up the children in the manner in which you would like them brought up. I will still be there. You stated that you are out of town at least 1 or 2 days a week, and sometimes for extended periods of time of 4, 5, or 6 days. It is very rare instances that it is like that. What time do you get home in the evening? I get home at around 6 o'clock. What time do you leave in the morning? Around 7:30. What time do the children go to sleep? 9 or 9:30. So that would leave you approximately 2.5 hours to stay with the children each day. Plus weekends, that's correct. But you stated that your mother would not be qualified and you would not prefer your mother to care for the children if you and Sandra were deceased? Right. Yet you will not be there for about 80% of the time? That's correct. So your mother would care for the children without your being around for a vast majority of the time. And the situation would be similar to when you went to visit the attorney last year? No, sir. Right now you are attempting to have your children in the care of your mother. They are helping me out. 3 hours a day, plus weekends. As a matter of fact, they don't have their mother there at all lately. She is gone 80% of the time too. 80% of the time? Their waking time. The children are left alone during that period of time? No, with babysitters or with me. Okay, so we're going to switch transcripts. Okay, plaintiff attorney again. Here we go. Mr. Lee, do you know the date of your first meeting with Mr. Monroe? I think you mentioned you thought it was somewhere in July. Yes, I assume that's when it was. It may have been earlier. Your best recollection is June or July of 2008? That's correct. I think you testified that in one of these conversations with Mr. Monroe, you received the impression that he wanted to sell the Pearl building and 2 adjacent lots? Yes, that was the impression that I got, that he wanted to sell the land and the building as quickly as possible. I see. When was the first time you received this impression? When I went down there the first time. June or July of 2008? That's correct. Did Mr. Monroe ever state to you the land and the building were already sold? No, he did not. Were you ever told that the owner of the land and the building was the title insurance and trust company acting as the executor for the estate of Thomas J. Davis? No, I was not. Your understanding was that Mr. Monroe owned the building and the land? That's correct. Mr. Lee, how were you first introduced to Mr. Monroe or referred to Mr. Monroe? Through a commercial real estate developer, Hawaiian Development Corporation. Where are they located? They have several offices throughout the islands, but their main office is in Honolulu. Do you remember the individual's name whom you spoke with at the Hawaiian Development Corporation? Yes, Patrick Carson. Did Mr. Carson refer you to Mr. Monroe? Yes, he did. Was Carson, aware that Mr. Monroe was not the owner of the Pearl building and the 2 adjacent lots? No, he was not. During your meetings with Mr. Monroe, did he ever refer to the title insurance and trust company as the owner of these properties? No, he did not. Did Mr. Monroe always refer to himself as the owner of the property? Yes, he did. Mr. Lee, I have here a document entitled Offer to Purchase for the property known as the Pearl Building located at 11820 Coast Highway, signed by you on July 28, 2008. Is that your signature there? Yes, it is. I have here a canceled check dated July 28, 2008 for $450,000 signed by you. Is that your signature? Yes, it is. Mr. Lee, whom did you give this offer to purchase to? Ivan Monroe. Mr. Lee, whom did you make this check for $450,000 out to? Ivan Monroe. Did Mr. Monroe accept your offer to purchase? Yes, he did. What were the terms of your agreement with him? The purchase price of the building was to be $1.5 million. The 2 adjacent lots were $40,000 each. Why did you give Mr. Monroe a check for $450,000 before the close of escrow? This was to purchase all of the office equipment, printers, and the computers. At that time, were you aware that Mr. Monroe was not the legal owner of the property and the equipment? No, I was not. Did you take possession of this equipment? No, I left it in the Pearl building. All right, so we're going to switch transcripts. Okay, plaintiff attorney. Can you tell me the circumstances surrounding the receipt of this check? Yes, my wife and I went back in November of '05. We informed my parents that we were in fact expecting a child. We said we wanted to buy a house. We asked for a loan. We discussed it at length with my parents. My dad was dying of cancer, and he wanted to first... Let me stop you right there. Did he die? Yes, he did. When was that? It was April of '06. Approximately how long after that check was written? Approximately 3 months. Okay, proceed. So what? He was dying of cancer and he didn't want to give us an answer right away, of course. He wanted to check with finances that he in fact had. He did discuss it with both my sisters and, his wife, my mom, and then they decided in January that they would give us the loan, and they specifically told us it was just a loan, and it was for the benefit of my mom, and we discussed the terms, and it was not to be, it was to be repaid to her because he knew he was dying. It was incurable cancer. What were the terms? What my father wanted, it was a 3-year note payable at simple 5% interest to be paid back in one lump sum. And how were you supposed to come up with the money to pay that back? He suggested we either get a second or sell the house, or by that time, in 3 years, the real estate market should go up and we could make improvements on the house. Did you ever discuss this loan with the respondent? Absolutely. Has she said anything recently about her recognizing that it was a loan? We did have a telephone conversation during the inroads here. What did she say about it? She said that she did actually admit that my father did give us a loan, but she was not going to pay my mother back one red dime. Now, this was a loan. Was anything ever paid? Yes, it was. How much? We paid the $20,000 interest for the 2 years that we did have the money. And when was that paid? It was paid in late May of 2008. 2008? Yes, it was. And was there let me show you. I inadvertently have those unmarked, if that would be possible. Just mark the originals. Hand them to me, please. I have 15 and 16 marked for identification. Thank you. Your Honor, counsel has not provided me with a copy yet of exhibit number 16, 15 and 16. I just handed her copies, Your Honor, representing that those are true and accurate copies of the exhibit. Would you take a look at, let's go to 16 first. Can you describe that exhibit? It's a letter. And who is it to? It's to my sister Diane. What is her last name? Diane Weekler. And is it dated? Is the letter dated? Yes, it is. And who wrote that letter? I wrote the letter. Did you write it back when it was dated? Yes, on June 1, 2008. How is it that you're in possession of it? I contacted my sister, and she sent it back to me. Can you read it, Your Honor? It's only 2 pages. If I could have you read that letter. The letter is the best evidence, Mr. Anderson. All right, so that concludes our 160 Q&A practice. Have a great day.